Hi everyone and welcome back to TechCravers. You know, it's honestly kind of crazy what's happening in the Android retro gaming scene right now. It feels like every single week someone releases another project that makes classic games even better than we thought possible. We're not just talking about emulation anymore, we're talking about native ports, recompilation projects, quality of life mods, dual screen layouts, widescreen support, higher frame rates, HD visuals and clever new ways to experience games we've been playing for decades. And the best part, you don't need an expensive gaming PC. In most cases, all you need is an Android device and of course a legitimate copy of the game. Just look at what happened recently. We have a single screen mod for Ocarina of Time 3D that completely transforms how it plays on Android. A Link to the Past received an incredible dual screen version that feels like it could have been an official Nintendo release. Dusklight lets you experience Twilight Princess natively with modern enhancements, and of course there's the latest Pokémon Gen 1 Voxel project, turning one of the most iconic RPGs ever made into something that feels surprisingly fresh. Honestly, it's becoming harder and harder to keep up with all these incredible fan projects, and I absolutely love it. So today we're going through some of the coolest Android ports and mods available right now. I'll show you what makes each one special, how they run, and most importantly how you can get them up and running on your Android device right now. So without any further delay, let's jump into it. Let's start with the project that actually inspired this entire video. If you've been following the channel, you've probably already seen my dedicated video covering A Link to the Past dual screen mod. So instead of repeating everything, I'll leave that video linked below if you want the full installation guide and a much deeper look. But what's really cool is that the project hasn't stood still. In fact, it's received several updates since I covered it last week. If you haven't seen it before, this mod completely reimagines how A Link to the Past is played on Android. Instead of constantly open menus, your inventory, dungeon maps, overworld map and other information live permanently on a second screen, making it feel surprisingly close to something Nintendo themselves could have released. It's one of those quality of life improvements that sounds simple on paper, but once you've tried it, it's hard to go back to the original way of playing. And since my last video, Sam Yost, the developer, has continued improving the experience with new features, additional customizations options, bug fixes, better compatibility and even more polish. It's a great example of why the Android retro scene is moving so quickly right now. These projects aren't just appearing out of nowhere, they're constantly evolving. So if you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend watching my full video after this one. Now, as impressive as this project is, it's far from the only one. Let's take a look at some of the other incredible Android fan projects that have appeared recently. So next up is Dusklight, one of the most ambitious fan projects we've seen in years. It originally started as a way to bring the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess to PC with modern enhancements, but the project has grown far beyond that. Today it also supports Linux and Android, making it possible to play the game natively on your handheld without relying on traditional emulation. On top of that, Dusklight adds a ton of modern quality of life features like higher frame rates, widescreen support, achievements, improved controls, enhanced graphics and plenty of customization options. It's essentially the definitive way to experience Twilight Princess on Android. So now let's go through how to install it. On your Android device, head over to the Dusklight website using the link in the video description. Once you're there, tap on Install, scroll down to the Android version and download the APK. If your browser asks you whether you would like to install it, simply approve the installation. Next, you'll need a legitimate copy of the US GameCube version of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess in ISO format. I have my copy stored on this external hard drive, and once you have the ISO ready, we're all set to finish the installation. Back in Dusklight, tap on Select Disk Image and locate your Twilight Princess ISO. If it's stored on an external drive, make sure to copy it to your device's internal storage first. Dusklight will then verify the disk image, and if everything checks out, you're basically ready to start playing. Before jumping in, take a moment to explore the settings. There are plenty of quality of life features and enhancements you can enable, from graphics and performance options to gameplay tweaks. Most of them come down to personal preference, so feel free to experiment and find the setup that works best for you. Next up is the Ocarina of Time 3D single screen mod, and this is exactly the kind of project that shows why the Android retro scene is so exciting right now. The reality is that, with only a few exceptions, the best retro gaming handhelds on the market all have a single display, and that's made Nintendo 3DS games a bit awkward to play since they were originally designed around two screens. This mod completely reworks the interface for a single screen experience. Menus, touch controls and other UI elements have all been redesigned, so instead of constantly switching layouts or shrinking one display, everything feels far more natural on a modern Android handheld. It's a simple idea, but one that dramatically improves the experience and makes Ocarina of Time 3D feels right at home on today's devices. So now let's go through how to install it. First, you'll need to install the Azahar 3DS emulator. You can either download it from the Google Play Store or grab the latest APK directly from the official Azahar website. Once it's installed, launch the app and go through the initial setup. Grant any permission if it requests, such as microphone access if prompted, then choose where you like Azahar to store its files. You also need to select the folder where your 3DS games are located. Next, you'll need a legitimate copy of either the US or PAL version of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. If you already got the game up and running in Azahar, you're one step ahead. Simply head over to the single screen mod page using the link in the video description. Download the latest release, which comes as a zip archive, and extract it somewhere on your device. I'm using Zed Archiver to extract the zip file, but any archive manager will do the job. Once everything has been extracted, open Azahar again, locate Ocarina of Time 3D and press and hold the game to bring up the context menu for that specific game. Now tap the folder icon next to the play button, scroll down to Open Mods menu and tap it. This will take you directly to the mods folder for Ocarina of Time 3D. Every game has its own dedicated mods directory based on its unique title ID, so you don't have to create anything yourself. Now simply copy the contents from the zip archive you extracted earlier into this folder. Don't rename any folders or files, just copy them over exactly as they are. Inside the extracted archive you'll find separate folders for the US and European versions of the game, so make sure you copy the contents from the folder that matches your copy of Ocarina of Time 3D. And once that's done, all you have to do is launch the game. Depending on your current settings, the game will still launch with the traditional dual screen layout, just like it does for me, so if that happens, simply swipe in from the left side of the screen to open Azahar's quick menu. From there, tap on Landscape Screen Layout and change it to Single Screen. The mod will immediately take over, giving you a seamless single screen experience. And that's it, Ocarina of Time is now ready to be played from start to finish on a single display, without constantly switching between screens. And last up is what might just be the coolest fan project in the Android retro scene right now. I'm talking of course about the Pokémon Gen 1 Voxel Mod. This incredible project completely transformed the look of the original Game Boy games, turning them from this into this. Instead of simply upscaling the graphics or applying filters, the entire world is recreated using detailed voxel environments while keeping the classic gameplay intact. The result is something that feels both nostalgic and surprisingly modern at the same time. Now let's take a look at how to get it up and running. To get started you need three things. First, download the latest release of Gen 1 Recomp from its official GitHub page. And just a quick heads up, gen1recomp.com is a scam website, so make sure you're downloading the project from GitHub using the link in the video description. Next, download the Voxel Mod itself. It comes as a zip file and unlike some other projects we looked up today, you don't need to extract it, just leave it exactly as it is. Finally, you need a legitimate Pokémon Gen 1 ROM, whether that's Pokémon Red, Pokémon Blue or Pokémon Yellow. Once you got those three things ready, I'll show you how they all fit together. Now launch the Gen 1 Recomp app. Select whether you're using Pokémon Red, Blue or Yellow by tapping the corresponding button in the left. Next, tap Import ROM and locate your ROM file. Gen 1 Recomp will process it, and once that's done, tap the waffle menu icon next to the search button. From there, tap import mod.zip in the top right corner and you guessed it, locate the Voxel Mod zip file that you downloaded earlier. The mod will be imported automatically, and if everything worked correctly, you'll see a green ready status. Finally, switch back to your Pokémon version in the top left corner and tap play. That's it, you're now playing Pokémon Gen 1 with the incredible Voxel Mod enabled. And to enable some of its special features, open the in-game menu and head to Options. You'll find several settings here that were never part of the original Game Boy games. For example, you can switch from the classic Game Boy palette to the much more vibrant Game Boy Advanced color scheme, and of course enable the impressive 3D voxel mode. One of the best things about this project is how active the development is. It receives updates on almost a daily basis, adding new features, improvements and fixes all the time. So if this is a project that interests you, it's definitely worth keeping an eye on future releases. And that's just a small selection of some of my favorite Android retro game projects available right now. I didn't even have the chance to talk about the incredible ship of Harkinian projects, which bring modern quality of life features to the Nintendo 64 versions of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I've actually made dedicated videos covering both of those before, so if you haven't seen them yet, I highly recommend checking them out. The same community has also released a native Banjo-Kazooie project, and we're already seeing amazing work on things like a Minish Cap dual screen mod as well. It's safe to say these are incredible exciting times to be a retro gaming fan. It feels like every week there's another project pushing classic games even further, and honestly I can't wait to see what's next. If this video helped you out in any way, I'd really appreciate if you could leave a like, and if you run into any issues during the installation process, drop a comment down below. Either I'll jump in to help, or one of the amazing people in this community will almost certainly point you in the right direction. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss future Android retro gaming projects, and until next time, take care.